And welcome to the board work session briefing for Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. The topic of this briefing is parks projects follow-up. Apparently we asked for some information follow-up to a previous work session. And if you'd like to join in and listen, the phone number is 360-252-9020 and your PIN number is 1234. And should you want to call, when you get in, please mute yourself. Otherwise, we have to end the call. We don't want to do that to everybody.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And so by way of introduction, I'm John Hutchings, the chair of the board. Also present is Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser. Commissioner Gary Edwards is in the boardroom, along with the County Manager, Romero Chavez. And we have Public Works Director Jennifer Walker with us. And we've got Lucy Mills and Karen Weiss, and we have Brian Meyer. And so, do you want to start, Romero?
Yeah, Commissioners, you received a briefing. You perhaps forgot about this one. That was July 29, 2020. So this is a follow-up to that briefing. And at this point, it's no action required by the commissioners.
Perfect. Jennifer.
I'll start it off just by saying that there were some additional questions that came out of the CIP briefing that we did to the board having to do specifically with a few parks and trails projects. And so Lucy's going to go through those projects in more detail. You'll see Karen here and also Brian Meyer because it takes a team, right? And so Brian is our lead engineer for our parks and trail projects. So with that, Lucy.
Would you like to hold questions to the end?
I'll leave that up to Lucy. How do you want to manage that, Lucy?
How about we do that at the end of each parks project that I'm going to be discussing?
Perfect. And we have sufficient time, I would imagine. We have an hour.
Yes, I believe we do.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Lucy.
Okay, with that, I'm going to try to share my screen. I'm a little bit technical challenged here, so bear with me for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There, can everybody see that?
No.
No?
No.
No.
Okay.
Do you have two screens with you?
I do. It worked at practice this morning, so.
I have it pulled up, Lucy, so let me.
No.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. So today we're here to give some information on some projects that the commissioners had some additional questions on. That we can go to the first project. This is the upcoming Young Tenino Trail restroom project. This project will install a new restroom building near the city park to replace an outdated portable building being operated by the city. The existing restroom is not operational most of the year and is well beyond any reasonable life expectancy. The estimated cost for this project is $700,000, $500,000 estimated for the restroom building itself, and $200,000 for potential utility replacements. We are anticipating the cost for the restroom will be less as we are planning on using the design developed for the Burfoot restroom as a template, thereby reducing design costs. The city of Rainier has committed to continuing to partner with the county by maintaining the new facility. This partnership aligns with our strategy of expanding capacity at existing facilities while not increasing operational costs. Are there any questions on that project?
Very good. You got any questions?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Nope.
Okay. The next project is the Chellis Western Trail culvert replacement. This project will replace several failing 18 to 24-inch culverts that have rusted out and collapsed. The culverts are not on the fish priority list, so there's no opportunities for grant funding for this project. This is basically a maintenance project, but because it is refunded, it has to be listed on the CIP.
Whereabouts is this project located at?
It's near Latigo.
Where's that?
It's,
Near Rich
do you know how near Crossing Street of the trail?
Rich Road,
Okay.
Rich Road and Latigo Street,
Mm.
Fir Tree, that area.
I do know the area, and that goes into Spurgeon Creek. Isn't Spurgeon Creek a habitat creek?
This does not, there is another project that will deal with a culvert over Spurgeon Creek, but this system is not determined as being on the fish priority list and is not fishy, according to our engineering department.
It's not a fish-bearing stream?
Correct.
Okay.
And they're due to
More of a
collapse?
wetland. It's more of a wetland complex.
Did you say, Lucy, they're bound to collapse?
They already have started to collapse. So they've rusted out. They've been there a long time. There's actually several of them. Until we actually get in there and open it up, we might not know exactly how many they are because
my
it's so overgrown.
Okay, thank you. Questions, any, Ty or Gary?
No, sir.
Okay.
So the next project is the Chellis Western Trail, 41st Avenue Northeast Trailhead. This project will install 29 stall parking lot, paved walkway, and a drainage pond on a parcel that the county already owns. There currently is a portable toilet and a picnic table just off the trail at this site. There is no trailhead in that part of the county. Cars currently park along the road where the trail crosses various roads such as South Bay, Shinky, and 56th Avenue, blocking traffic and creating sight distance issues for people using the trail. The estimated cost for this project is $505,000. I think before the board had asked about reducing that cost by installing pervious surfacing, and the engineering department did look at that as an option, but that would basically double the cost of the project due to the drainage infiltration system that has to be built underneath of the porous asphalt or the pavers that would be used.
Wow.
What's wrong with just a gravel drive park area?
Maybe Brian can answer that question, what the requirements would be for drainage mitigation if we just use gravel.
So yeah, this is Brian Meyer with our engineering group. This project was originally looked at in, I think, 2010. A lot of the engineering work was done then. At that time, they looked at just doing asphalt. If we did gravel, we'd still have to do some of the drainage improvements. You'd basically save costs on just the asphalt. But it could be a gravel parking lot. Up to Lucy, it probably might have more maintenance to clean the gravel every year, go out to regrade it and smooth it out. But it could go with asphalt also. I mean, just at the time in 2010, we looked at doing asphalt and pervious pavers, and that's when we saw that the cost was almost double to do the pervious pavers.
Okay.
Okay.
Question.
Go ahead.
So that doubling of cost for the previous pavers, is that because there's something unique about that particular site and the way things drain that you'd have to put in special infrastructure? Or is that, I mean, that's not true of every project, right? I mean, there's certain times where that's what you're trying to do is put the water through the ground. Sounds like there might be something else going on here.
For this, we still have to do the pond area, even with the pervious pavers as a secondary drainage source. So we basically be doubling up, doing the pavers and still building a pond for if the pavers were to fail to catch the excess rainwater.
And with impervious asphalt, you don't have to do?
Impervious, it'd be the same. You'd have to still build that reserve area for a pond for it to catch the water. If the silt blocks up the pervious asphalt, the water then has to go to that location.
So why is it double then if you're doing the pond either way?
Yeah, so that's the thing is we'd be building the pond either way.
So why is the project cost double?
Oh, just because we're doing we're going to be doubling up on the work. It costs more to do the pavers to begin with. And so we're still building the pond and then we'd be doing the pavers, where if we just go and do normal asphalt, all the drainage would just go to the pond to begin with. It looks like I'm confusing everyone.
I think, Brian, because when you use the pavers, you have to do extra work underneath the pavers to build a system of infiltration. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I mean, a storage area underneath the pavers, to infiltrate the water.
Yeah, so my question was, is that always the case, or is that the case only in this site?
No, that's typically the case throughout the county. When a private development wants to come in, we ask them to reserve an area for if their infiltration, their pavers or pervious asphalt were to fail, they would have to have an area set out for their ponds. So it's typical throughout the county.
I have just a quick question, Hutch.
Just jump in, yeah, please.
Uh,
I can't see you.
On these type of projects, do we put that out for a bid or do we try to do it ourselves?
That's up to Lucy and her staff. This is a project that her staff could easily do, but it depends on their workload through that year. But if her crews are too busy, then we would put it out to bid.
But it also is more to that. There is a limit as to how much can be done with internal forces in terms of the budget. And that is by state law.
Okay. All right, then.
Any other
Moving on.
questions on this project?
Doesn't appear to be, Lucy. Go ahead.
Okay, so the next project is the Chutes Falls parking expansion project. This project will expand the existing parking lot near the entrance of the park. During the summer months, this site has become very popular. Many cars are parking on Bald Hills Road, blocking the roadway and access to private property beyond the park. This project does not provide for additional parking at the bottom of the site near the viewpoint, which is about half a mile down the hill from the parking lot at the top. To expand the parking at the bottom of the hill will require additional permitting, removal of several trees, and potentially widening of the road leading down the hill. The trail from the parking area to, if we built a new parking area below, the trail from the parking area to the new viewpoint, which is going to be built next year, is very steep and would require a lot of work to build that, to make it ADA compliant. It would be a difficult project in that the terrain is quite steep and is really on basalt outcropping covered with duff. So it would be quite difficult to build a lot of switchbacks back and forth to get people from the lower parking lot to the viewpoint. So this project does not expand that into that other parking lot.
Lucy, how many parking stalls will it accommodate? And that includes for disability parking?
Up at the top, we do have an ADA parking slot. I don't have a design for this parking lot yet, so I don't know how many additional stalls we'll be building, but there is no accommodations for getting people up and down that hill and to the viewpoint itself.
I get
It's
that.
not ADA compliant.
But I was looking at 165,000, and I don't have sticker shock, but I was wondering if that was like 6 stalls, 10 stalls, or 30 stalls.
I don't have a design. Maybe Brian could answer that question.
Just kind of a real raw number.
I think it was looking at 8 when we were talking with Kerry Hibden initially about this project. He was thinking about 8 stalls. And just, he was looking at doing it just at the top, pushing out the area that there's currently parking and just adding 8 additional parking spots. So that's where this cost came from.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Gary or Ty, jump in.
I don't know, I know the area up there, and it seems like it'd be so simple just to push it out with a dozer and put gravel in there, but I guess you can't do anything simple in government, so boy, it seems like a lot to do that. I don't know.
Okay.
Frustrating.
Okay, moving along, Lucy.
Okay, the last project we have to discuss is the Fryco Park Lawn renovation. Originally, an old concrete structure was demolished and the fill material was placed over it to create the lawn area. The rubble has settled in such a way that it's creating some large sinkholes. This project would expose that rubble, reposition it, and replace and regrade the soil on the lawn itself. The concrete has cured, so basically it's inert. There's no environmental concern about reusing that material. And this project is scheduled for construction in 2022 and 23. We would do half at a time so that we don't have to close the majority of the park to visitors.
Is that estimated cost the total for both phase 1 and 2, or
It
each
is
phase?
for phase 1 and 2.
Okay.
I do have a question about why you would have to dig things up. How come you just couldn't take in a couple 100 yards of topsoil material and just dump it and level it? You know, fill, I don't know, gravel to start with and then dirt on top of that. Can't we do something simple?
That's something potentially we could look at.
I don't know, Ty, this is out in your neck of the woods, isn't it? No?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
My district. It's next by like Fryco.
You're kind of an engineer kind of guy, aren't you? Why don't you go look at that?
Do you have any questions, Ty?
I don't think so, no. Not on this one.
Okay.
We got some time to look at that, I guess, with the dates scheduled.
Yeah, a couple of years. All right. Is that it, Lucy?
That's it. That's all the projects that I was asked to bring back and discuss a little more in detail.
All right. Another shot at parks if you need it, Ty and Gary. No other questions?
No, good.
Is there, are there other projects like further down the list that either are further out in time or there's not quite enough money, but we'd like to do them aspirationally? Or is this kind of the complete list of important park projects?
These were the projects that are listed on the CIP that I was asked to bring back for some additional information.
I'm sure there's other ideas out there.
There's lots of ideas.
If there was unlimited funds, I'm just,
Yeah.
Jennifer, you were going to say something?
I was. This is not the complete list of projects that we have planned. These are projects that there were additional questions that we were asked of during the prior briefing that we're coming back and responding to. So this is not the comprehensive list of our projects. And speaking to Commissioner Edwards and some of the concerns that you've expressed regarding the cost, I mean, we are extremely mindful of the costs to do the work. And we think about long-term maintenance of those facilities. And so we look at what that balance of constructing appropriate, using appropriate material and the right construction to be able to have lower costs long term and for the maintenance. So that is an ongoing strategy and effort that we're doing for all of our projects. Parks is just highlighted because everybody loves parks. Everyone loves the trails, and we saw that, we've seen that even through this pandemic. But there's a lack of funding, and we've talked about that. So,
Okay, well, I appreciate the fact that you're cautious on all that. Thank you very much.
You probably heard today some of the same questions that were asked back in July. I'm going to suppose. But this
Well,
is good. Go ahead.
I think it gave us an opportunity. I think the same questions were asked, but that's because we also had an opportunity to provide that responses to the commission that we didn't last time. So we appreciate the opportunity to be able to provide more information and for the board to be engaged in the projects, very much so.
Well, you are welcome here anytime. Anything from you, Ramiro?
No, good job, Lucy.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
very good job. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And this meeting is now adjourned. Bye-bye.
The gift